So, what I learned in that week is that a news story, has many truths. They are not. There can be lies for sure, but there are many truths.
Okay.
And 100%, the media picks the truth that sells.
Huh.
100% they do. And okay, let me tell you, I'm going to tell you a little story about that trip, okay?
Okay.
So one story. So we went into a place that was cleaning up birds that had been covered in oil, right?
Yes, yes. And that's the
Okay?
memory. That's how I remember that. Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Yes, the birds that were covered in oil.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was cool, and like basically they would have like a 10 o'clock and a 2 o'clock event for the media, the press, and they would take you through the refuge and they would show you all the animals. And then at the end of the event, we all gathered around a table, and I kid you not, lined up in a perfect row like a grocery store were Dawn detergents. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they were lined straight up on a row because we all know that Dawn kills
Yes.
or cleans birds best. We
Yep.
know it.
Yep.
We know it. And they bring out the seagull, who is jacked up. He is covered with oil. He is a mess. And they proceed to use the Dawn, and they clean him, and the bird is all clean. And we're taking our pictures, and we're like, this is so wonderful. We have a clean bird.
Yeah.
And I said,
Awesome.
well, I was talking to one of the people. Also, I said, where did you find this bird? And they're like, well, we don't really know. I mean, we get them all from all over. And I'm not sure exactly where this bird was from. And I said, when did you get this bird? And they said, well, we haven't been out today. We went out finding animals yesterday. So I'm telling you, Beverly, at the best, they found that bird 24 hours earlier, kept him in a cage, greased up in oil, and trotted him out and washed him off in Dawn to be a photo shoot.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
That's the media. So there's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there is a bird covered in oil. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But the truth was they wanted to show us that. It wasn't like they just randomly found a bird 5 minutes ago and they pulled him out and dubbed him all up.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that bird was jacked up for at least 24 hours.
Oh my God.
So you have to know that the media is always playing us for money, for money.
Yep.
So look, you type in George Floyd protest and you're going to just see riots.
Yep.
You're not going to see in the news headlines people singing, people marching and laughing. You're not going to see that because it doesn't sell.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yep.
We must be educated.
Yep.
And furthermore, Beverly,
Yes.
as I hear you talk, my feeling is we have more in common than we have not in common. You said we should arrest the guy, and then you're like, and why haven't we arrested the other three? That seems good to me.
Yeah.
And then you're like, what are we going to do? And then I'm like, I don't know. Here's a flyer that I found somewhere on Facebook. And we're like, and so we are, but I'm telling you this, CNN's going to position it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Fox News is going to position it that way.
Yeah.
Donald Trump is going to position it this way. I don't know, AOC is going to position it that way.
Yeah.
We're being played, Beverly.
Yep.
They are dividing you and me for votes. for votes, Beverly. They are fucking us. They want to eat us.
Yep.
They want us dead. They only want us for our money and our vote, and they give fuck all about the rest of us. They don't give a shit about us, Beverly. And we have to stop that. We have to stop allowing them to play all of us.
Yeah. Well, you know, back in, I mentioned 2016, I remember it was after one of the debates, and I was in a Facebook argument. By the way, if anybody gets too feisty with me on Facebook, I just delete their comment. I delete my post. I just delete. It's so stupid. So I just want to, it's not that I want to hide from it. It's just like we're making ourselves look dumb here. But prior to that feeling, it was 2016, and I was in this debate with one of my very dear school buddies. And, you know, if I'm 60 now, it's 4 years ago, you know, we're in our 50s and we're having these fights. And I said, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. And I said, I'm not going to do this anymore. These are millionaires that you and I are fighting about, losing our friendship, hurting each other, and they're the ones living high on the hill, and they don't care about you and me. Her name was Jackie. And I said, they don't care about us. I'm not going to do this with you anymore. You know my convictions. You know where I am. And it wasn't even a Republican Democrat debate that we were arguing about. I think it was the Democratic debates on, you know, who was actually going to get to be a running mate. And there we were fighting. It was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And it festers and musters up hatred, which is something that genuinely gets my heart racing. And I'm telling you, you and I talk a lot about human beings, and you know, I am also an advocate. You know, I never want to, you know, if a dog is lost, you're going to see me sharing a post about a lost dog or a cat. You know, and then we've got animal brutality. And so we're passing laws about that. And you can't leave thank God, there's starting to be some laws about leaving animals in cars and stuff like that. That's my heart. But do you feel there's a chance we're treating animals better than we are humans?
I know.
I mean, I honestly, because what we're doing, it's an avalanche. It's onion layers. You got George Floyd, who I cannot unsee that. And because of that, so many of us have been hurt in so many different ways because of our experiences. Because of our experiences. Our ages make us feel different ways. What I've got, you know, I got 6 decades under my belt, and a teenager might feel that they know more than me, that they've lived more than me, or whatever, and that's just not the case. Not that I have disrespect for them, but please respect my decades of what has happened in my life. And so I feel like humanity and giving a shit about human beings really is getting lost in this, because I mentioned the moment when that video started coming out, and everybody was in the same place. This has got to stop. It's got to stop. We got to do better. What do? Let's get our voices heard. Let's protest. Let's get out there. Get our names, or our voices and our opinions and everything out there. But in the meantime, as it went day after day after day, we're like, well, whoa, wait a minute. You know, and then I got people telling me, well, broken glass can be fixed. Yeah, it can. But we just came out of this other recession. And you know, the bakery was just getting on its feet. Please don't just disrespect or just discredit that person. And then I've got people coming at me saying, these people have insurance. They'll be fine. Yeah. Well, now we got the insurance companies going to be bailing all of this out. And we know who owns the country is the insurance companies. I mean, share with me your thoughts on this. Isn't it an avalanche?
Yeah.
Isn't it? And how do we stop it? How do we push the snow back up the hill or make snowmen out of it?
Yeah. Okay. So you said something very important, that your position and experience in life influences your perspective and observations.
Yeah.
And we as humans are very challenged to be able to do that. We're not good at it, of empathizing. You are, Beverly. You have the empathy sense. You know, it's a sixth sense for people. So I want to share with you very briefly 3 things that have affected me to be who I am at this moment in time. Because who I am is violently angry. Okay, I am, and let me also add to the underlying thing that I do have anxiety and depression, and when I am not on my medication, I am unbelievably angry. I practically dangerously angry in this moment.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just being honest with you. Okay.
Okay.
So I've got so there you got that. So you got my mental health. Okay, you got that on the bottom playing field. Now, I'm going to tell you 3 quick things that happened to me in my journey with homelessness. First of all, you said you never had seen somebody murdered, in person. Well, I've never seen anybody murdered in person either, but I have seen people who have overdosed on opiates. Okay, and I've never seen anybody die. Fortunately, because we were there, we administered Narcan and we brought them back. But what I can tell you is that everybody in the vicinity, whether you're a fire person, an EMS, or their friend, they will tell you all the same thing. That person was dead. Okay?
Yeah.
That person's heart stopped. They stopped breathing. They were dead. And it's weird. It is life-changing to see a dead person.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, it's life-changing to see them come back to life after Narcan. It's all very confusing for my little human brain.
Okay.
So that affected me.
Sure.
Story 1. Story 2. I was standing outside of our day center one day. I was talking to a young woman who had just given birth in the last few weeks, and her boyfriend. We were standing outside. It was a summery type day, and she's there with her baby in the baby not carriage, but the thing you hold, you carry your baby in, that thing. And Child and Family Services came up and took the kid.
Oh my God.
And what I learned was that Child and Family Services does not have to have anything other than a suspicion that you are a bad parent. Now, that was years ago, and she has officially lost that kid, okay? And she tried like hell to get that kid back. She did everything they asked, and she lost the kid. That changed me. That was, I was like, what? That doesn't happen in my neighborhood.
Right.
Child and Family Services doesn't walk up and just take your kid from you, but it happens to homeless people and poor people. Third and final thing, the city of Akron shut down our village. Now, and the problem with that was, as a business owner, and I get everything you start talking about business. I have been an entrepreneur for 20 years. I sheltered and cared for homeless people in my commercial building and in my commercial land. Okay?
Yeah.
I get everything you're saying about business. That's one of the beauties of my position, is I have been so blessed with so many perspectives. So anyway, they shut it down, and I was shocked. Now, what then shocked me was that I was shocked that I was shocked. And the reason was because as an entrepreneur, you don't just shut shit down. You put a concept product out in the market, and you look at it and you make it better. That's what I created. I created a concept car. I created a prototype. And as a business owner, I naively and stupidly thought that bureaucrats and government officials would come in and say, well, Sage, thank you for this. I literally thought they would thank me.
Yeah.
Wrong. They hated me for it. And secondly, then I naively thought that they would say, well, Sage, we don't like this part, but I did like this part. This is cool and that's cool, and now we're going to do this. No.